On the journey to build a successful business, it can be a struggle to build an audience. It can be a struggle to build a successful sales funnel. But what if that wasn't the most effective way to have a consistent and predictable flow of clients? What if you could achieve that by sticking to your zone of genius and adding more value and being of service? This is the magic of a referral system. This is the magic of having someone email you or send you a message, an existing client, saying, I love the results that you've helped me achieve. Here's also a person from my network who I'd love to refer you to, who you could also help get a similar result. What if that was coming through consistently? What if those emails and messages were coming through consistently in your phone or on your computer? The question is, how do we do this? Well, that's why we have Kendra Beavis here. Kendra, in this episode, is going to walk you through how from day dot she was able to implement a referral system within her business by being of service and by truly just loving creating results for clients. So what you're going to learn in this episode is 1, how to set yourself out from the competition by adding more value. 2, the beliefs you need to have about business to put this in place. 3, how to sell from a place of confidence. And 4, how you can do this all without a marketing funnel. Let's dive in. Okay, my online family, welcome back to another episode of the Awaken Your Business podcast. I have Kendra here. Obviously, Kendra Beavis. We've been in communication, building a relationship for a little while now. Obviously, we've been on a few events and met through Monica and all the cool stuff. But one thing that you reached out to me for is one thing that was on my mind that I wanted to really have a conversation around. That is building referral systems, building an internal referral system for your business in a way that allows you to have a flow of clients on the back of you serving at a higher level. And so the challenges that I find people are running into is that, they try and find creative ways to try to market and get themselves out there and look different and all those different things. The reason why I want to have this chat is one way to combat that and to set yourself apart is to have these systems in place, or have this, at least this top of mind, that you can have referrals come in on the back of you really starting to describe, really starting to serve it at that next level. So before we get into your story of how you got into all this, I'll read your quick bio that you got here. So just so everyone knows, those who don't know Kendra, she's the founder and CEO of the brand strategy studio Mocha Creative. Is that how you pronounce it? Mocha?
Mocha, yep.
Mocha Creative. Over the last 15 years, she has been celebrated as a master artisan, working on an intimate scale with her clients and crafting unique brands with great care and ingenuity. She believes the flip side of a great design is thoughtful strategy. With this core belief in mind, she's developed and elevated over 54 brands in the fitness, retail, and financial industries, and won multiple industry awards, mostly for her brand and website development for Solid Care. Her favorite project to date has been raising her 2 children on Long Island, supported by tireless efforts of a tech-savvy husband. No doubt the tech-savvy husband is probably going to get mentioned in here somewhere. But we welcome you. We welcome you, Kendra. How you doing?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to be here and talk to you. I love having these conversations, and I'm very excited to share any knowledge I have so someone starting out can have this in mind when they're building their business.
Definitely. Or even if they're in business for a while and they haven't considered this, because it's not necessarily something I've built. I've had referrals come to me time again over the years, but it's only recently that I've really started looking at this as a particular strategy, as a particular way to implement in my business, so that I can have more of a flow. Because I've learned in business, obviously a referred client is one that is going to be more loyal, is obviously going to, they're going to not only pay on time, but argue less, there's less resistance.
Yeah.
There's so many things that that offer as a benefit to having a referred client. But one thing I want to ask you to start off with is, what is the difference you've seen in your business to start off with since you started really serving at a high level and having a referral system in mind?
Well, when I first started, I had no clients. So to refer me, there wasn't that base. So what I had to do when I began this business just about 20 years ago, I was hustling. I was looking for the people that I can serve. I was a new mom, and I kind of, once I had my baby, I was like, I think I really want to do this from my house with my child. How can I make this craft that I love into a business? And I had worked in the city. I was at a branding studio there. I was absolutely shocked that I didn't love that, because that was like the dream since I was a little girl. I was going to have my briefcase and be in Manhattan. And then I got there and I was like, oh, I don't like this. So when I started the business, I was just looking at, what do I do really well? How can I fit that into somebody else's business? How can I solve a problem? And I just started calling people and really networking. I worked with a lot of photographers, because at the time when I was starting out, it was 1998, 2000, I guess, was really when all of this began. And photographers didn't have an avenue for digital albums yet. Digital photography was still somewhat looked down upon in the photography industry, especially wedding photography. They still wanted, your 8x10 matted photos in a book, but it was just starting to become a thing. And I knew I could do that. And I loved weddings and the wedding industry. So I started calling photographers. I made actually just yesterday, one of my old photography clients called me for some branding work. So, over the years, I built relationships with a lot of different businesses. And one of the things I've always kept in mind is, not only like high level of service is just the baseline, that's just a given, but the relationship that I build with these clients, it's such a personal thing. It's more than business. It's on so many different levels. And because of that, they've come to know me not just as a solution provider, but as a friend, as a consultant. And similar to when you find a product that you love and you want to scream it from the rooftops, or a book that you love and you want to share it with your friends, that's what I've found that my clients do, is they know that my company can serve and solve a lot of different issues that maybe you would need several different companies to solve. So they love recommending me to their whole network. And so you can see how, if this started with one client who referred me to the next person, who then those two clients, then it's just exponential growth. So 20 years of that, it's really unfolded into such a beautiful business. And everybody that I am connected with now, I've worked with for some of them 17, 18 years.
So what did you feel when you, obviously getting started, we all start with 0 clients.
Yes.
That's a given. No one's born with clients, right? So
No.
And if someone has been, reach out to me, because I want to know how that's possible. But one thing I really want to ask is, when you started networking and you started doing your outreach, was there anything in particular that got you that, that sort of momentum with the first clients, so that they can start? Because obviously when you're starting out, you don't have the particular referral base, you don't have the expertise, or the
you don't have the portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. So how did you get started with getting those few first clients?
A lot of times I would walk in with a solution in hand. So if it was somebody who I knew was looking for a particular service, I would literally bring it to them. Like the photographers, I had digital albums that I did for myself, for friends, and walked in with that. So basically, I would say, like, if there's something that you want to present yourself as maybe not an expert, but as you can provide this solution, show them. Create the work yourself. Don't be afraid to do a test project and do something just to show that you can actually do this work. So that's how I was able to kind of get my foot in the door with a lot of different businesses, because I would walk in with work that was done that I know that, like a lot of printers, I would reach out to print houses, and I know that they oftentimes outsource their graphic design work. So I would walk in with brochures and flyers and things that I'd done at my previous company and showed them. And, I had I wasn't walking into places that I didn't have experience with. Like, I knew I could do what they were looking for. I knew I could solve a problem that they need solved. So I wasn't trying to fit myself into a position that wasn't something I was good at. I knew what I was good at. I knew what I loved doing. And then I went and looked for those clients instead of, oh, I see someone's looking for something. I don't really know that industry well, but I'm going to just try it anyway. I kind of reverse engineered and did it the other way.
Okay. Well, one thing I noticed is your level of focus. A lot of people can get stuck when they have this, especially a lot of people listening to this podcast, where they have this gift they want to give out to the world. A lot of them are coaches, light workers. They have this inner ability to, whether it's with healing, whether it's, with mindset. And so a lot of them say, I have this gift. How do I get it out into the world? And what you're sort of saying is, I'm not focusing on my gift per se. I'm focusing on the problem that I'm solving. And
Yes.
if we're in business, we're in business because we solve problems. We're problem solvers.
Yeah.
And
the problem I love to solve, not just any problem or something I like truly love seeing these solutions being implemented and helping these businesses grow. So you might have a passion for helping someone get over an addiction or something. I just think be specific in what you're passionate about and what you really who you want to serve. Get micro focused on that single person. They always, when we're branding a company, we have to think about personas and create these personas. And I think when you're marketing your business, it's so important to do that. Not only can I serve this person well, but who I want to work with. Because that was the other thing. I always went for people that I knew we would mesh. Like, we would have a conversation, and it wasn't always that case. Like, I would talk to somebody and I'd get off the phone and be like, no, that's not going to work. Or I'd walk in somewhere and we just didn't hit it off. Without that genuine personal connection, it was never a great match. So it was something I usually will walk away from. So just keep that in mind too.
Awesome. Well, what else did you have? Anything else in your particular focus? Was there anything you were focused on? Obviously solving the problem and working with someone that you would love to work with and solving a problem that you'd love to solve. Is there anything else that went through your mind? Any other area of focus that allowed you to sort of build that momentum and trust within those first clients?
I just was very confident because I knew I could do what I was saying I could do. There was no snake oil in it. It was just extremely genuine. And I was excited to do it. So I think that came across too. Like, there was honesty, there was transparency. If somebody had asked me for something that I'd never done before, I would totally tell them, like, yeah, I here's my solution that I think I can do. I've never done it before. Let's go for it. Let's try it. I wasn't afraid. I had nothing to lose. And I really, really love connecting with people and meeting new people. So if nothing else, we just had a great conversation.
Cool. I love that, especially in the form of, like, when someone's thinking about this and saying, how can I implement this in my life? Well, where's your area of focus? Is your area of focus on solving a problem and being excited to solve that problem, being excited to connect with this person, build this relationship and say, you know what, if I solve this problem for you, it's going to be well worth the investment of the services or the product, whatever I'm delivering. But it's also going to be an exciting journey that we can take together to make your life easier, to help you get better results, to help you, whatever the outcome might be, right?
Mm-hmm. And that was such an important part of it, is really showing up as your true, authentic self, because I couldn't even imagine how many people that do what I do. Designers are a dime a dozen. So what makes me different from somebody else? It's the genuine connection that I'm making with that person. That's what it's so many layers of what makes a good relationship that's going to stand the test of time. And that's a big part of it. Is I'm not for everyone and everyone's not for me. It's, it has to be the right fit.
One thing that you've highlighted that makes you stand out is that connection, is that relationship. Is that what you look to go for? Is that when you're working with a client and you're looking to bring them on board, do you first build the connection with that person, or is it that you can solve the problem first? Is there anything like that goes through your mind?
It's definitely that I can solve the problem first. I know we have the solution for them, whatever it is. They need a new brand. They're struggling with something, we can help them. The second part of it is if we don't have that connection, I cannot get in their head. And I need to be able to do that in order to understand their culture, their brand, their everything. I need to understand their motivations and their values so that I can really act as them and like basically put their head on my shoulders when I'm leading my team in what we're designing for them and the solutions we're creating for them. So if I know and I have this really intimate relationship with this CEO, I can act as him. I know, or her. I know exactly the choices that she would make. I know what her standards are. There are people we know so well that like, if I see the wrong kind of comma in a typeset, I'm like, nope, that's definitely not, and it helps with the brand part too, because there's a certain flavor that you have to keep in mind when you're designing for all of these different clients. So the fact that we get so close, it aids in the final product. Yeah. So, it's just, I've also been told like for years, you really shouldn't do business that way. You get too close, but I've had some of these clients for 18 years and it's worked out so beautifully. I've never felt icky. I've never felt salesy. It's just this genuine unfolding.
Totally. Why do you think that is? Why do you think, in the world of online business right now, there's so much emphasis on setting up a funnel, setting up a sales system, and implementing marketing in a way that can be, in a way manipulating. And the outcome is to get a client, but also it's sort of like people are manipulating their marketing and their strategy and getting attached to those outcomes. I think that true, genuine connection, that heartfelt service might be missing for a lot of people. How is it that you sort of fell into this and sort of saying, well, I'm not going to go down the route of the funnels and the sales tactics. Yeah. I'm just going to serve. Is there anything in particular that happened that led you to it?
I kind of always have been that way. I grew up in a family-owned business, and my dad ran the business the same way. They weren't customers. We knew their kids, we knew their grandkids. It was just, you build these relationships. So for me, business was always about building relationships since I was little. That was what my example was. So when it came to building this business, I just naturally did the same thing. And don't get me wrong. I am driven. It's just, I don't go about things the traditional way, and it's worked out really well for me. I don't have an email list. I don't have funnels. I just have a lot of really, really great clients that continuously recommend me to all their network. And, they're all the same type of people. Like you were saying how, a referral customer is a different type of customer than someone just coming to you from Google or whatever, wherever their touch point was. They're already aware of what you do and how you can solve a problem that they have. And there's somebody that I work with currently recommends to me. So oftentimes I'll get somebody calling me and saying like, hey, so-and-so, they have this big company in the city and they're having an issue with this. They're really great company, really, aligned, like, cause they know where I stand and the way we work. So, the referral is almost vetted for me, and it 9 times out of 10 turns into a conversion and a new client.
And think about how much time that solves. Like, for example, like you're in your element. This is where I think it's so beautiful because it's so leveraged as well. If you just be smart about this, when you're in your element and you're serving and you're loving solving these challenges for your clients, and then you fall in love with your clients and you build this relationship, and then they refer you elsewhere to people who they know you would be aligned with. And then because of that, there's already a connection, there's already trust built there. And 9 times out of 10, that they become a new client. Think of how much more efficient that is than the classic building a funnel, building a sales system, putting out a freebie, building an email list. It just, to me, and I believe obviously there can be aspects of both. There's plenty of systems we can put in business, but I think this is something that goes missing. This is something that people overlook sometimes, and when it can be so much more efficient, so much more time, so much more value on your time, so much more value on your effort. Is that what you found? Is that what you found growing your business for this amount of time and having clients for, some for 18 years? Do you find that there's a great, where you're in most of your zone of genius? Is that what you found?
Yes. And there's such appreciation for it. I remember sitting at my desk with my infant and thinking, like, I just wish that I didn't have to work so hard at this. And that was before, like, I really had a couple good clients, and I just wanted the phone to ring. And now, so many years later, I'm like, wow, we got there, and we did it the way I wanted to do it. It wasn't anything that I wasn't comfortable with or didn't feel like me. I don't think I would have lasted if I went the route of something that just didn't feel aligned with who I am and the way I wanted to build my business. And, I've chosen to do this a certain way. So my team is all virtual. We did have an office. We just closed it in December because none of us could go in. So, I don't have the big, huge agency with the glass walls that you can write on and all of the fancy things that I thought I wanted at one point. I started to build that and pivoted when I realized that it didn't feel right. So it's been a lot of like shift and pivot as I go to stay true to why I started this to begin with. And that was always, I just wanted to do really great work, help people grow their businesses, and still be able to spend time with my family and enjoy our lives and travel. So, this is extremely aligned to my lifestyle and what I wanted to create. So it's, not for everyone. But I think it's a great way to go about doing business, because it almost doesn't feel like business. It feels like I'm just helping out a lot of really great people. Yeah.
I want to get more into that. But one thing you mentioned is that when you go into a meeting or you go into meeting a client, there's a lot of confidence there. What advice would you give someone that is looking to build their client base, but they're not as confident? They're not as confident with their ability to deliver, or their ability to sell, or their relationship skills might not be 10 out of 10. What advice would you give someone that's not as confident with that sort of transition?
Well, I mean, you're bringing up a couple different issues. So, I mean, if the confidence to sell is where you're lacking, don't think of it as selling. Just think about, not convincing, but explaining to somebody how you can solve something for them or how you can help them grow. You're really think about it sitting down with a friend having coffee who needs your advice. And that's what you're doing. And at the end of the day, they decide oh, this is awesome. Yeah, we're going to do this. You win. But, I don't ever think about it as selling. I walk into a boardroom and I just say, here's what I see. And here where I think there are some holes that we can fix. And the one delivery part though, I don't walk into a room unless I know it's something we can deliver and we can do. I don't try and, small things, sure. If we've never done a particular type of campaign before, or, never worked in a certain industry that we're walking into, I will do my damnedest to make sure that I'm walking in there with as much expertise as I can and knowledge as I can on that industry. I pretty much will Facebook, LinkedIn, completely stalk whoever the company is that I'm walking in, including most of the people that I can find that work at that company, so that I have almost a leg up on, I know that person has kids and they like to travel. And I know that person is a tech nerd, and we have this weird thing in common because I saw it on LinkedIn or I saw it on their Instagram. So I do a lot of research, stalking, before I walk into a room. So I do know, even aside from just the business, even my husband makes fun of me because we'll go out and I'll know I'm going to see certain contacts, and I will make sure that I'm looking at their social feeds to know, okay, they, they just had an anniversary or so-and-so's birthday. So I have like these talking points. And that actually gives me a lot of confidence because I know, okay, we'll connect on this, or I have this to bring up, or I know that they're going to want to talk a lot about this specific topic because it's something they love.
Cool.
So that helps.
Yeah. So stalk your clients. Do it in a way that's legal.
Yes. No, become an expert in them, because if you want to connect with them in a real way, find out who they are.
Great. I can imagine people going through like their prospects' trash cans outside their house, trying to find out
Don't do
more.
that. And if you do it, don't tell them I told you.
But it makes sense if you're researching someone online, you're researching a company, you're researching what their branding is, their interests, what posts they have, their family. When you walk in there, you not only feel like you know them, but you feel you have the confidence and certainty that you have the solution to their problem.
Right.
And no doubt that's what comes across is your level of certainty. And even if you haven't done it in this particular way, your level of confidence and certainty that you can figure it out will definitely come across. And right. I think that's a key element when it comes to all of this. One thing I want to also ask is, what do you recognize within yourself, particular beliefs that you have? And the reason I ask this is because not many people have a skill set that they go out and they start serving clients, and all of a sudden it starts having the ripple effect of just referrals and thriving clients that keep coming back. That's not very common in this world, and I wish it was more common. But one thing I want to ask is, what particular things about business, about yourself, about your clients, what beliefs do you have, do you think, that led to those particular results?
Well, one thing that just came up for me was businesses are just people. And when I was working at the branding agency in the city, I realized that pretty quickly, because I was put as an extremely green designer in a position where I was talking to major corporations, and I was so freaked out. And then I realized, like, oh, this is just a guy who owns a company, and sure, it's tremendous and he's a billionaire, but he's just a person. And that was like a really interesting lesson, because it not only helps me brand companies better, but it also helps me understand how to work with companies better, because you're not working with a company, you're working with people. So that's a huge part. And I have this thing, I guess I don't know. I don't want to do anything that's not fun. So that's really at my core. Like if it's not a good connection, if it's not a good project, if it's not something that I'm going to have fun doing, I don't want to do it. And when we started out, we offered everything under the sun. Every service. And over the years, I've just come to the point where I'm like, I just don't like doing that. There's friction there when it comes to doing it. I'm not going to serve my clients best if I'm doing something that I'm not enjoying. If there's someone on my team and they want to take the reins and they're fantastic, great, I can guide them. But I really don't take any projects or offer any services that we don't absolutely love doing. So I think that's a big part of it too. When you're excited to do something for someone, that shows, and it makes a better end product too.
I think it all flows, because when you're in your element, when you're having fun, when you're in your zone of genius, it's the ripple effect of your true grace zone flows through you, where you're able to serve the client and solve problems at a resourceful level. They're not only thriving, you're not only solving the problem, but they're thriving. You're happy and creative in that space. And then that's the ripple effect, because obviously you have to have a thriving client that loves you and your work to then generate those referrals, right?
Yeah.
And then that with each client that comes your way. And as long as the projects are fun, as long as the projects excite you and you're passionate about solving that problem, that's what's flowing. I think a lot of people have the thought or the belief that I'm okay to do this as long as it's making me money.
Right.
That,
Honestly, money is like the last thing I think about. I
mm,
mean, my prices are my prices and I don't really budge on those because I know we're worth it.
yeah.
Um, but it's almost not even a conversation. I can't tell you how many contracts I've won because they just liked me or liked my team, or like we were just on a call with a client and he said this is the third web design we've had done in 3 years and by far the best experience because we hold them through the whole process. We hold space for them to co-create along with us, which is the funnest thing. I'm creative at my core, so I want to do something creative with someone else, whether that's in business or outside of business, in any capacity I can. And when I think a lot of, especially like, I don't want to bring up particular industries, but a lot of industries, they have people inside of them that are so creative, but they don't get to express that. And then when we walk in the door and we see those people, we're like, oh, that person is going to be great on this project. And we can help guide like who is actually going to be part of this team that helps bring this to life. And it's so much fun for them because they get to like express this whole new thing that they haven't done at their job yet. So I mean, that's another, working with the clients teams is one of my funnest, enjoyable,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Cool. I like it. Well, one thing I want to ask is there anything that you do in particular that allow referrals to be easy for your clients? Do you ask them for referrals? Do you suggest it? Or do you just focus on them thriving? What is it that allows for that ripple effect?
I never do. I've never asked for a referral ever. They just organically do it. And I would like to say that that was like a one-off thing. It's not. It happens almost daily. Um, Absolutely stunning. I'm very much like a universe has your back, and I have this whole idea of how nothing is a coincidence, and it blows my mind every single day how giving and lovely these people are. It's amazing. I've never, no, I don't have a system. I don't have I do ask for testimonials. I have a form for that. But it's just a lot of staying in contact, connecting. If I haven't spoken to a client in a little while, or we recently just had a client's business close due to COVID situation. I've reached out to them a few times. I even sent them something. So doing those sorts of things, like really letting them know, like you genuinely care, because I do. It's not nothing about this is fake. None of it's a sales pitch. I want to see the people I work with, their businesses explode and everyone there to do really well. And when they're not, I've got their back. I'll help them figure out what their next move is, or, okay, how can we pivot? What does this look like? Okay, we took that website down, the business closed. Guess what? I have a backup of it, and he's talking about a new business already. So we're ready to go with that framework and get him up and running as fast as possible. We love helping people get to that next level, whether it's in business or in life.
And so one of the questions people who are listening to this can ask themselves is, who do I need to become? What do I need to focus on? What do I need to believe to have this client want to refer me, right? For the client want to refer me, who do I need to show up as? What do I need to deliver? How much care and genuine, authentic
So much.
can I send, right?
Everything. Give it everything. Because why wouldn't you? I mean, when they really feel that they are supported, that they can trust you, they're going to scream it from the rooftops. And they likely their network are the same type of people that they are. So if you're aligned with them, they're going to connect you to 10 other people that are on the same level.
Is there anything you ask yourself, any area of focus you have in particular that you think sets you apart from other people who are branding, other, website developers, anything? What else sets you apart that allows this relationship to thrive, that allows them to keep coming back and refer you? Is there anything else you can dissect or recognize within your own business?
I try and make the experience of working with us as enjoyable as possible, as easy as possible. So we spend a lot of time on our onboarding process, so that everything I could think of that I need to ask up front is asked up front. And we're not coming back 20 times with, oh, we forgot this or we forgot that. Like, we've been doing this a long time. So we know how it all works. You know, and also coming at it with, I listen. There is no template to branding a business. There's no system. There's no box. Every business is different. And the business owner started it for a certain reason. What is that? You know, how do they want to change the world with what they're doing? So we really get really down deep on finding out what their motivations are and building it from that, not building it from a system that I created. So I think that's a lot of it, is it's asking a ton of questions, getting to know the company and the people so well that you can function as them, and then you can build from there. So build it from their box, basically, not yours.
I love that, because what you explained before is my view on business. And that is that it's more than business. This is what makes me cry, is when because I give my clients forms to fill out, like, oh, what gave you confidence to sign up with me, to sign up for this particular program? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say it's because we can feel you genuinely care. We can feel that you genuinely care. You actually have the that care and that soul and that passion to help. And that sort of seems to be what's missing in the world of business, of systems and needing to make the sale and having attachments to outcomes, and you know, really having our worthiness attached to making 10K months, or, you know, 6-figure years, or
right.
7 figures. Like we place so much on that, and our worthiness attached to that we can think of, once we get there, then we'll be enough, or we'll be safe, or we'll be loved, or whatever it might be. But all of that sort of takes away the fact that you're here to serve. You are here to genuinely serve. And that's when you're thriving. When you're serving in your element and you're in your zone and you're just helping this person heart to heart, it's so much more than business. It's like, this is your gift. This is your guidance. This is grace flowing through you. And it is a privilege. It is a blessing to be able to do that. And I think people miss that. But what would you give? What advice would you give, or what sort of things have you recognized within yourself that make this journey more than business for you?
I don't focus on the outcome. As far as my outcome, like, I don't focus on the contract or the price, or trying to trick somebody into paying all this money for something. I have always thought, what is the value here for this person, for this company? And then offering my services at a rate that's both comfortable for me and for them, and allow them to get their projects out, and my staff to get paid comfortably. But it's not my first thought. My first thought is creating something that will help this company grow, and focusing on that. And it always ends up in abundance. Always. I just don't, it's never anything I even worry about. We have grown so beautifully, so comfortably, without ever saying the word scale or, funnel. We just do really great work for a lot of awesome people who love that, and they just tell all their friends, basically. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you're taking all the business vernacular out of it, that's what it is.
Wow. So no doubt that's what a lot of people want. So is there anything else you would give in terms of tips, advice, or anything that if someone is looking to, you know, maybe they're getting inconsistent clients, maybe they are a coach, or they're looking to build a particular brand, a particular base, and they're doing all the same things in terms of their marketing. They're building a social media presence. They're building maybe a group or a podcast. What advice would you give someone that's looking to, have the same sort of success that you're reaching?
I would just keep evaluating what you're doing and what's working. Are your clients happy? Are they coming back to you? Are they consistently in your workflow? If they're not, if you lose somebody, okay, what was the lesson there? What happened? How can you change? Is it your onboarding process? Is it your the way you end projects? Is it, where are your holes that you can fill? Because there's always a reason why something doesn't work out. And if it's a connection thing, that's, that is what it is. And I don't sweat that. And you shouldn't either. If something doesn't work out, I truly feel definitely evaluate it, think about why and what you could change and what lesson you can learn, but also know that like something better is coming. So, if you lose this major opportunity, just take the lesson from it, if there is one, and just know that there's something else. Like, okay, there's a new focus. There's something else coming down that I really believe that everything happens for a reason.
Totally. I think the more people can feel into that this business journey is nothing more than just this big growth experience. Everything's happening for a reason. Everything's happening for your development. Everything's happening so that you can serve at a higher level. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
I really love it.
I think listen to your gut too. So many times I've either taken on a client that I felt like there was red flags or there was a misalignment, and sure enough, it just doesn't work out in the end. And when I say that, I mean like they don't become a lifer. That's what I'm always looking for, is to serve a company we usually become their, external marketing team or design team. And that's always my goal, that's what we want to become, because then we are called upon and we have this beautiful circle of clients that just keep coming back to us. And, our workflow is very full.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything in your past, in your history of doing this, that you've had to really gain feedback on and test and tweak within your own business? What are some lessons that you've learned there?
Yeah. So, originally I didn't have a project management system, and that was something that I was seeing a lot of things fall through the cracks, and I was getting some feedback that like, hey, this took longer than you had originally told me. So that was something I had to really look at and say, okay, well, how can I smooth this process out? Because you cannot, as your business grows, keep it all in your head. I pay for my tools. I pay for the best tools that work for me, that work well for my team. I'm not afraid to invest money into things that make our lives easier, make our clients' lives easier. And the worst thing I did was create systems in free things and kind of shoehorn together, and then expect that to be suitable for 50 clients, ongoing, current, constant work clients. Like, it's not going to work. So, a long time ago, I probably tried every single project management system under the sun. But yeah, we've been building our process through this. And don't be afraid to get help. If you need a team, if you need to start, because for a long time I was like, no, I'm going to do it all myself. And that just never worked out well, because I would think you can get it all done and then you can't. So, I was letting clients down, and that's when I realized like, oh, this is bigger than just me. I really do need to bring some people on this. So don't be afraid to start spreading your wings a little bit that way too. If you need assistance, if you need other people on your team, like and I actually, one thing on that, I have found great success with team members when I go search them out myself. So and it's probably easier for me to do because I'm looking for creatives. So I can go on Instagram and I can find them on Behance and specifically ask them like, hey, are you looking for work? This is what we're doing. This project fits your wheelhouse. Like your style is totally what we need for this. Rather than the opposite where I used to put ads out like, okay, we're looking for a designer, and the people that would come in, didn't quite fit what we were looking for. So, we're in a really unique position right now to be able to kind of see into the back door of people. Like you can go on LinkedIn, you can do a search, you can find specific people that you want to, and just, hey, how are you? Not like an automated copy paste, just a genuine, hey, I think you're awesome. Let's see what we can do together.
No doubt the area of focus is like, what systems can I put in place? What team can I put in place that's best going to serve the client? That's going to give them, like you said before, the experience that's the most easy to work with you, and obviously the most enjoyable, where they get the results that they're after, and they get to build this relationship with you that's long lasting. That sets the base for everything you need for a thriving client, a thriving experience and a thriving business on your behalf as a byproduct of that. Is that the way you see it?
I always knew I was like hitting the point where I needed to pivot my team, or whether it's expand or change out somebody that wasn't quite the right energy when I was working beyond what I wanted to work. When I was working and it was 2 a.m. and I was like, all right, this isn't what I want to be doing. So I need to look at what's going on here, and change some things. So I feel like that's always like the point where I realized like, oh, we've grown again and we need to expand a little bit.
Gotcha. So before I ask for some wrap up kind of topics, where can people find out more about you? Where can we suss you out to stalk you and stalk what you're all about? We won't give away your address so we can stalk through your bin.
Don't look through my garbage. It's all coffee grinds. thinkmocha.com is the website, and that's the business site. You can find me on Instagram at thinkmocha or at Kendra Beavis. That's kind of if you really want to know who I am and what my life's all about, that's probably your best bet. I live exactly, I put out there what I'm trying to build. So you'll see my kids, my husband, like the things I love doing. I truly believe business and life are not separate. They're the same. And you should live it not separate, combine it. There are plenty of days where I'm in the middle of Zooming with a client, and then I'll take an hour with my daughter and go on a kayak ride. Go find me there, connect. I have a podcast too, Tribe of Unicorns. You can check that out. We interview creative entrepreneurs and just pretty awesome people who have done incredible things, and you want to know how.
Beautiful. And I want to not only thank you for being here, but it's so refreshing to see just someone building their business in a way that's so aligned with me. I know so many people have different ideas of business and things like this, but when the business is the byproduct, just what's flowing through you in terms of genuine, not only your skills and expertise, but genuine care and love and kindness and compassion. It's so refreshing to see. And obviously it's allowing you to thrive, but also you feel lit up, right? And I think that's the difference between not only being a business owner, but being a genuine fiduciary advisor for your clients, where you're the go-to expert that genuinely feels their best interest. You know their best interest, and you will do everything in their best interest. And I think when people have that type of relationship, that's why they keep coming back to you. They feel that care. They feel this person knows me. They have my best interest at heart. They love solving these challenges for me, and therefore the investment of your services is 10 times worth it. And so I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for how you show up. Is there anything else that's on your mind? Anything else you want to share that would make this conversation feel complete?
I just think, we're all so lucky to be able to create businesses that we absolutely love to wake up in the morning and do. So love your business, love your life, take every opportunity. Don't take things so personally if they don't go your way. Wish that person love and light and move on. And you never know where you could run into them again in the future. Maybe they do end up becoming a friend or a client, but we're lucky. And I'm very honored to be here today. So
awesome. Thank you so much for your kindness, your wisdom. We really, really appreciate it. I'll put all the links in the show notes so people can reach out to you, build that relationship with you. And no doubt there's going to be a lot of people who are sussing you out and wanting to know a bit more about you. So thank you so much for being here. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Have a good one.